Alright, so this is quite a impromptu video log today. I was just sending a message, an email to one of my debtors earlier to sort of explain my situation financially and also to inform him of a more realistic and practical plan when it comes to repaying him for the debt that I still owe. Um, it's been dragging on for quite a while, and truth be told, I made some empty promises as well, because I was under a lot of stress and pressure, and I was just trying to buy time as I work out a solution to my problems, and it wasn't helping. So today I decided that at the beginning of 2020, this is like the second day of the year, but it's really the start of a new year, and I want to make sure that in 2020 I really you know do things right. In 2019, I struggled a lot with my debts. I think mostly because I didn't have as much uh, opportunities, in 2019 to really work off my debts. I mean, there were, but it was slow going. It was one of those. I mean, over the last couple of years, I struggled with my debts, but last year was the slowest of all the years. Um, so it's been really really tough. It's been really really hard. Um, so yeah, give me 1 second. So yeah, I am honestly not proud of the depths that I'm in. I'm not proud of what I have gotten myself into, and this past couple of years I have just been struggling with this pain in my life. You know, um, I've been trying to follow my passions. I mean, if I didn't find my calling, if I had not found my calling, if I had not found my purpose in life, I guess it's debatable, and you could say that, and I'll probably believe what you say, and I'll probably agree with you that a lot of what I'm doing might not have been worth it. I don't know, right? But the truth is that I did find my calling. I did find my purpose in life. It's a good thing. It's a good thing that I found a much larger goal and mission for my life, and I have God to thank for that. I probably don't deserve it, but I am grateful that this is what I've been given. But that doesn't negate the fact that I still have this huge amount of debt that I have to clear in my life. Um, it has been so stressful that I even confide in my cousin, a much older cousin, because I found him to be more relatable. And in a way, I was honest about my debt situation. I was honest about the pain and the lessons that I've experienced. And I also shared with him about, the insomnia that I have almost every night. In fact, in 2019, I think it's probably the only year in my life where I really did not sleep much. I didn't get a lot of sleep. In fact, in 2019, I think it's probably my most sleep deprived year in my life. Um, I have credit card debts. I have loans. Well, you can call it loans, right? It's this like a cash advancement facility that comes with the credit cards when you sign up with the bank. So all of this debts was incurred actually almost 5 years ago. 5 years ago, it was the very first time in my life when I actually felt that I have a lot of money, and I finally had the opportunity to get a credit card. I didn't just get one; I got quite a number of them. Um, and being someone that was struggling with a lot of low self-esteem and feeling the need to fit in with the crowd, to constantly put up this false image of who I am in front of people. Um, the old me would spend a lot of money on lifestyle, would spend a lot of money on traveling, good food, acting generous, I mean, by nature, I am a generous person, but, I've taken things to the extreme back then. And a lot of the actions, a lot of the decisions that I made got me into deeper and deeper into debts. So much so that, um, between the time that I got my credit cards to the time that I maxed them out, you know, it was only 6 months. In just less than 6 months after I got my credit cards, I maxed them out, including the uh, cash advancement facilities that were available from the different banks. Then over the last couple of years, because of my decision to follow my passions, to find out what my purpose and meaning in life was, right? I mean, I you can say it's bad timing. You can say that I was unwise. You can say that I was foolish. Whatever you can call it. The time when I made the decision to follow my passion was also the time when I maxed out my credit cards and I finally got into serious debt. For the first time in my life, I was in serious debt. So yeah, you can argue that it's actually really bad timing to do what I'm doing. So yeah, I struggled a lot, over the years. But I have to be fair by saying that over the last couple of years, there have been some good breakthroughs as well. Some really, really honestly good breakthroughs in my life. Though, I have to be also honest that those breakthroughs in some ways dwarf in comparison to the depths that I'm facing in my life. So sometimes sometimes on a good day it feels like the struggles have been worth it. But I have to admit that there are also a lot of times on this journey where I felt like my struggles were just more than the breakthroughs that I began getting. So in a way, it seems like the breakthroughs were not worth it. Well, it seems that way if you're someone looking in from the outside. I do not know. Everybody's perspective is going to be very different. Everybody's view is going to be very different. Um, but yeah, I did have a few breakthroughs over the last couple of years, but most of the time it was just struggles. Um, Over the last couple of years, I met people, I met friends, short-term friends, um, people that have helped me along the way, people that have lent me money. Uh, they see my situation, they genuinely wanted to chip in and help me along the way. Um, but as it went on, I think my the debts that I have in my life just kept snowballing, right? It's like a snowball rolling down the hill. It as it goes down, it gathers momentum, and at some point, it just suddenly seems like this huge snowball, and you have no idea how it got so big. That is sort of like my debt situation, right, in my life. Um, the one thing that is very bad about getting into debts, especially with the banks, is actually the interest. I do not know about other parts of the world. I don't know what it's like if you were to get a credit card and you default the payment. I don't know what your interest rate is like in your country, in your city. In Singapore, the interest rate is 24% per year, and that's just one bank, uh, and one card. I had multiple cards from multiple banks. So just imagine the amount of interest that was incurred over time. I consider myself blessed in a way that, you know, right now, even though I'm working on my debts really slowly, the credit card companies, the banks, have agreed to waive off the interest. So in reality, what I'm actually paying for right now, what I'm working off right now, is just the principal amount, and the principal amount alone is a lot. I mean, at its full figure, it's six figures. It's like 100 over K, 106,000, 106, right? 106,000. So that was the full figure. If you had included the interest, it would have been so much more than that. So yeah, I don't think it's wise to have a credit card or to take a loan. You know, I know that I when I was growing up, I always thought that nah, my parents used to warn me about getting credit cards, but I didn't listen. You know, yeah, I didn't listen. So when I finally got into my own credit card debts that I'm in now, I start to understand that it's not wise to have a credit card. I mean, we have things like debit card these days, and a debit card can do almost anything similar to a credit card. The only difference is that for a credit card, you are paying something first. The bank is paying for you first, then you have to pay the bank back. And it becomes a way of convenience. It's like you might not have cash on you, and you might not have cash in your bank account, you might not have enough funds, but you can just pay for something first. So unless you are someone with a lot of self-control, unless you are someone with a lot of savings in your bank account, you are ready to pay off whatever your credit card has been used for, sure, I guess you can consider getting a credit card. But then again, still, I find that it's not wise, because every human being, including myself, is tempted. We are subjected to temptations. Nobody is nobody is exempted from that. Nobody is an exception. So before you say that I am wise enough, I think I am. Before you claim that, before you tell yourself that, I won't get into credit card debts, I think it's so important really consider the possibility that under the right situation, under the right conditions, people can make mistakes. People can do things that are foolish. You know, um, and yeah, that is exactly what happened to me. I always thought that I wouldn't get to credit card debts. But here I am facing it. Um, it's just so overwhelming, so overwhelming. Um, and the fact that I always on my journey so far, I there were a couple of times when I really wanted to walk away from this journey of finding my purpose in life or meaning in life or whatever, right? And I just wanted to quit because during that time I didn't know what my purpose in life was yet. I don't know what my calling is. I don't know what I'm supposed to do in my life. So for years I've been following my passion without a goal. I haven't reached a goal at the time. So there were points in my journey where I said, you know what, I just want to quit. I just want to stop. I'm so exhausted emotionally. I'm so exhausted psychologically. I just want to throw the towel and quit. I want to go back to a 9 to 5 job, a 9 to 6 job in tech. I was a software engineer before. And at one point, I was actually making quite a good salary, but I squandered the money thinking that I would be able to stay on the job for long. I didn't know that 1.5 years after I got the job, I would be retrenched. So I took it for granted. I thought that it was going to be permanent. So again, that was a mistake. So in that period of time when I had a really good salary, a really good job, I wasn't paying off my debts as diligently as I should have. I was just paying a comfortable amount that I feel was comfortable for me to repay. But I wasn't really I wasn't eager to quickly clear off my debts at the time. So yeah, when I lost the job, I realized that, that's shit, now what am I supposed to do now? So over the last couple of years, it's just been it was okay in 2017, 2018. 2019 was the worst. But still, if I'm being honest, the last 3 years have been slow, very slow. I feel like I've been dragging my feet, when it comes to clearing my debts, and it has to stop. And that is one of the things that I decided, um, you know, late in the later part of 2019. I was thinking about the goals and the plans that I want for 2020. 2019 has been the worst year of my life. Worst is the worst year of my life. Psychologically, emotionally, mentally. I had some good breakthroughs last year. I met my benefactor who sponsored me with the laptop, the monitor, the hardware that I needed to be a content creator. And that is one of my callings. That is part of my calling and my purpose in life, being a content creator. Because over the last couple of years, it was also the time when I started to discover, and through people's feedbacks about me and the work that I've been doing, I realized that I am naturally talented and gifted in the area of content creation. So yeah, that is one of my calling. That is part of my calling in life. So this year I did receive breakthroughs on that front, and I'm very, very grateful for it. So it's sort of a sign, a sign along the journey, a reminder that I am on the right track. Um, it's so funny and so interesting that over the last couple of years on this journey of trying to find my purpose in life, the breakthroughs, even though they are really not much, there are probably only a few breakthroughs that I can count with one hand, um, with 5 fingers. And the amount of struggles that I have is just so overwhelming that I can't even count. But this little breakthroughs that I've been experiencing over the last couple of years were just scattered along the journey at significant points to remind me that, Sherman, you're on the right track. don't leave this path, stay on it, you are on the right path. That was what I experienced over the last couple of years, and those signs usually happen at the very moment when I'm just thinking about quitting. They always happen right before I want to throw in the towel. So yeah, it's been tough. It's been really challenging. So yeah, I want to continue with this subject, this topic, by giving advice to young people, young adults, people that have money. You don't necessarily need to have credit cards right now. You might be a student. Whatever age group you are at right now, my advice to you is this: please be wiser with your finances. I hope that your parents are teaching you that. I kind of hope that growing up, my parents were were not that protective over me. I wished that I grew up more independent. I wish that I struggled more when I was younger, because then I would have been more appreciative of what I have in my life. Um, but I had everything really easy. No, I don't come from a rich family background. I don't think that I was rich, right, compared to a lot of other people. But I did have a pretty comfortable life growing up. And I think that in some ways I was very protected. Um, so I never really had the opportunity to face struggles on my own. And as I grew up, as I became an adult, I realized that that environment that I was in wasn't helpful to me as an adult. I made a lot of mistakes. I got into so much trouble on my own. I didn't know how to deal with it. I guess the most important thing was the most important realization that I had was that if I knew how to appreciate the value of money, if I knew how to appreciate the value of so many things in life, I wouldn't have got into this much trouble later in life. Make sense? Um, so yeah, I wish that things would have been different. I really wish that things would have been different. But they are not, and maybe that happens for a reason, so that I don't know. Like today, right now, I'm making this live stream, this video blog. That maybe someday some of you who are watching this video will understand what I'm talking about, and you will learn to. Yeah, I really wish. I was talking to my cousin the other day, and he's not wrong. He's not entirely wrong. He's right to say that a lot of people. He was saying that people in general needs to make a mistake. They need to fall down. They need to feel the pain before they really understand the lessons that like I'm trying to share right now with you, or the lessons from our parents, the lessons from people that have gone before us. Um, in some ways, I guess for me, I really learned through pain now, and I wish I didn't have to learn through pain. There were people around me that has been telling me, warning me about what I'm getting myself into, but I got into it anyway, and I wish that I had understood what those people were telling me. I wish that I could have seen or experienced the kind of pain that they were going through, so that I wouldn't put myself through it. I do not know how to make you feel the pain, the struggle that I'm in. The only way I know how to do that right now is to be really honest and authentic with you. And that's by being honest about my situation, my struggles, my insomnia, being broke most of the time, uh, not having enough money to even get a proper haircut. I literally use a shaver to shave my hair, my sideburns, because it was getting long, and my hair is thick and dense, and it's just really warm and it's stuffy, and I just couldn't take it. So I shaved my sideburns on my own. Um, and yeah, it's I just want young people. I really hope that these young people, if you are watching this video, I hope you will not have to go through the pain that I'm going through. Really. I hope that you will plan your finances well. I hope that you will learn to budget your finances, your allowance, your whatever money you're earning. I hope that you will understand that money is not easy to earn. It's so easy to just spend it. I can spend a couple of $1,000s in a single day, but it can take me months to earn and save up that same amount. So yeah, I really understand the value of money right now. I have so much respect for the value of money today. And some people have told me that I'm being stingy. Some people have told me that I'm just very, very stingy with myself when it comes to money right now. But I have to, I have to really think about every single cent, every single dollar, and where I'm putting that money. Is it really helping me? Is it going to something that adds value to my life? Or is it something that I'm just spending away and I can never get it back? These are the things that I need to think about. So I hope that when you are thinking I'm not saying that you should be stingy towards other people. I think it's a good virtue to be generous, to want to be helpful, because by nature I am a helpful person. By nature I'm a generous person. If I really want to help somebody, I would go all out if I have the means. But I think it's important that we all learn to do it within our own means. Meaning, if you only have $10 or $100 to spare, you have to think about whether or not you have enough to survive before you start helping somebody else. It's not about being stingy, it's about being wise. I like to think that is the key thing. We have to be wise when it comes to the managing of our finances in life. Period. Right? If you have the means to help somebody, by all means go ahead. I think that is very important. We have to be helpful to other people. We cannot be selfish. But being stingy or being wise with your finances doesn't necessarily mean that you are being selfish towards other people. That is something that I'm very clear of right now. So yeah, plan your budget, plan your expenses. I think right now that it's so important to be for me personally, I'm not saying that you have to do what I'm doing, but I believe in being a cash and nets person now. Of course, clearly, I'm blacklisted when it comes to banks and credit cards, so I clearly can't get a credit card anymore. But I would also be telling other people that you don't really need a credit card. Sure, you can say that there are rebates, you can save money and so on. But if you really have money, if you have been saving up, you would have more than enough. And if you're wise with how you spend, you don't have to worry so much. You'll always be spending within your means. So, right now in my life, I don't have much, but I look forward to the day when I have more, in my bank account, in my wallet. I look forward to the day when I have more money to spend. But also at the same time, I will still be a cash and nets person, meaning that the only thing the most that I will ever use is a debit card, because debit card means that when you use a debit card to buy something online, it's automatically deducting what you already have in your bank account. So in this case, you are spending what you already have and not the bank paying it for you first. That's a very, very, very big difference. So that is something that I think this is the most important lesson I want to share today. You know, don't get a credit card. I yeah, I think if I ever do get a credit card, it's because I have loads and loads of cash and loads of money in my bank account, and I don't have to worry about my credit card expenses because I can just easily pay them off straight away. Uh, that would be the only reason. That's the only reason I can think of. If not, I would very much prefer to just stick with a debit card, ATM card. That would be good enough. Cash. These days, even though I don't have much, I'm very much a cash person. It's good because for me, I have become very, very self-aware of where I'm putting my money, where my money is going to. I'm very clear of what I'm spending my money on. So yeah, that's one thing. Another lesson I really want to share when it comes to money is don't borrow money from people. Don't borrow money from people. Um, I have friends that have offered to help me over the years. I'm very grateful to them. Even one of my mentors did lend me some money a few years ago, and I'm so grateful for that. In fact, he helped me the year before. I'm very, very grateful for that. But don't go around borrowing money from people. I used to do that. It's just it's totally unnecessary. Right? I think it's so important. Again, back to the same point of spending within your means. You have to learn to spend within your means. Anyway, yeah, that's all I want to share for this video log. I don't know what stage of life you're in. I don't know if you might be facing something similar like I do, working off your debts, student loans, whatever loans, whatever debts you have. I just hope that you will learn your lesson just like I did. And if this is your first time hearing about loans and debts, I hope that whatever issue you're in, do not take things for granted. I hope that my pain and my lessons will serve as your lessons, as a reminder to always be wise with your finances. Yes, I hope that you will not have to go through the pain that I'm going through right now. So yeah, that's it for my video blog today, guys. Thanks for watching.